Hey, what's going on? I'm DJ Sixsmith. You're watching The Sit Down. Hanging out today with Brian Presley.
What's
up, man?
Yeah, good to see you.
Good to meet you. And you got your special friend here as well.
I have my special friend. He's a pet wolf. So he has a little jet lag.
Just a little bit, yeah.
But yeah, he's in the movie. In the native Alaskan culture, the wolf and bear reflect the death spirit. So I incorporated him into the storytelling of the movie. As you see the wolf tracking the mushers as time's running out in the hospital.
That must have been pretty fascinating, throwing him into the movie.
Yeah, it was fun. You know, he's making his movie debut, so.
Your directorial debut, his movie
debut. His acting debut, exactly.
That's awesome. So we were talking off camera. This whole project's been like 10 years in the making. You're directing it. It's a period piece. There's a lot going on here. What were the biggest challenges in putting this whole thing together?
You know, I mean, I had everybody in town tell me there's no way you'll ever get this movie made. Nobody's gonna let a first-time director, dogs, kids, snow, up at 12,000 feet in the mountains. So, I mean, it definitely had its challenges. Preparation was key. You know, taking a crew of 60+ people up into, you know, Arctic temperatures is pretty intense. So those night shoots were, I mean, what you see in the movie, there was not much acting. It was really cold.
Like how cold are we talking here? What temperature?
I mean, we were below zero some nights. Wow. So, you know, it was cold. So
I'm sure it gave you a whole new appreciation for a different way of life.
It does. I mean, when I first started researching the story, I went up to Alaska and thought, okay, I'm going to go up and see the end of the Iditarod and do a dog sledding excursion along the Bering Sea. We camped out in these like heated tents, and so the little biplane drops us off and says we'll be back in a week. We get off the plane, it's 25 below zero, and it was like, oh, maybe this wasn't a good idea.
This was a good idea.
But you know, it's definitely. I mean, dog sledding's still way of life for a lot of people in our country. It's a huge sport. I mean, these dogs. They thrive in this climate. They thrive when they can run. I mean, one of the most amazing things is watching when you begin to hook the dogs up to the sled before they start taking off. I mean, they start jumping. It's like, put me in, coach, put me in, coach. Yeah, so that was the dogs were amazing to work with. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So and there was a few times I did all of my own mushing and.
You did the whole thing.
So you know, my real daughter plays my daughter in the movie.
Oh, that's cool.
It was her first day at set, and we were doing a scene. It's at the end of the movie when we're coming back from the hospital, and she's riding in front of me, and you know, we totally hit like an edge, we caught an edge going down the hill, and flipped over.
Oh my gosh!
And she's like, "Daddy, I want to go home.
I'm
I
out.
want to do this." So it took some bribery to keep her there, but that was a fun part.
But you got to make it your own. It's like your dog, your daughter, your story, your direction. You know, that must have been huge for you. What was the coolest part of just being able to control the whole thing?
You know, I mean, for me, it's controlling the, you know, the message of the movie and telling the story that I wanted to tell. Like, Balto, most people have heard of Balto, and there's an animated movie, Balto. There's a statue in Central Park, Balto.
Right.
And so Balto got a lot of the glory, and most mushers covered 50 to 80 miles. Leonard Seppala, who I play, and his dog Togo covered 350 miles through the toughest stretch of the 700-mile relay. And so I felt like they were kind of the forgotten heroes. And not to discredit any of the other mushers or dogs, but I mean, 12-year-old husky and 350 miles.
That's
and
insane.
80 below zero.
It's not supposed to happen.
No, I mean, honestly, if you look at science and you look at ask any of the medical field, I mean, their lungs should have froze. There's no way that medicine should have ever made it. I mean, it's true. It's a true miracle story.
Yeah.
And a story that needs to be told.
Totally. No question. So what surprised you the most in this whole process, putting it together, filming it, even talking about it now? What's been most surprising?
You know, I mean, I think the most surprising was, you know, how hard it was to work in these elements. I mean, for me, I was like, I'm in go mode. We're going to go.
We're just going to make it happen.
A movie. We're going to do it. But, I mean, it had its challenges, you know, keeping morale up. And really the animals are what really lifted people because people love animals. People love dogs. And, you know, when you have dogs and wolves and that kind of, and children, I mean, the morale was definitely boosted by those things. But that was the most surprising, and just, you know, I think what's been amazing through this whole promotion process is, and the test screenings, we've got a lot of big churches that are supporting the movie, and this families, it's a good old-fashioned family film, you know, where a family, whether you have a 6-year-old or a 106-year-old, can go to the movie theater on Friday night and enjoy the movie.
Totally. So as a director, who are the people that influenced you, just going back? I mean, you've been in movies, TV shows, but like, who are some of the directors you've really liked along the way?
Well, you know, I had a chance to work with some really good directors. And you know, I did a movie called Home of the Brave with Sam Jackson, Jessica Biel.
Yeah.
And the director was Irwin Winkler. I mean, he primarily is known as a producer. He's won Academy Awards, produced Goodfellas and, you know, Raging Bull, all the way to all the Rockies.
Rocky, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And so, you know, he gave me a lot of wisdom, and I was able to watch him, how he navigated set. And it was really Kurt Russell who gave me, when I did a movie with Kurt Russell called Touchback, you know, I was talking to him about this project, and he, you know, I was in the process of trying to find a director, and wasn't sure I was going to tell the story. And I asked him, I said, you know, I really think I could do this. And he said, hey man, if you see the movie, you should tell the story. And so I never gave up on that, and just stayed with it. And, you know, it took 9 winters to get it to, so winter would pass and be like, all right, let's start focusing on next winter. So, but, you know, because it's an independent film, you know, we're not Warner Brothers or Disney.
Sure.
You know, we had to find creative solutions, and, you know, finding a place where the period resources already exist. You know, 1917, 1925, and, you know, up in Silverton, Colorado, all those elements exist. And so, you know, it took some time. I scouted all over the world on how to make it, where to make it, and so, you know, definitely those years were not wasted on, I mean, it prepped me to be able, so once I had to go, you know, I was ready to go. Totally.
You mentioned Touchback. That must have been a really special project for you, given your football background. So
yeah.
What do you remember about that experience?
No, I mean, Touchback was a really fun film, and getting to work with Kurt Russell, I mean, I grew up watching him. I mean, he's Wyatt Earp, you know. And so, but yeah, I grew up playing football. I was went to the University of Arkansas to play football before I left to go to California. And so getting to strap back on the pads was, yeah, it was fun.
It must have been pretty surreal for you.
It was. I quickly realized I wasn't 18 anymore.
You don't bounce back up as quickly as you did.
Yeah, I would like take ice baths, and, you know, I mean, it was, that piece of the puzzle was, you know, when you go to football practice, it's like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
This is a whole different thing.
You're spending 10 hours in pads doing take after take, and yeah.
Like, can we take 5 real quick, you know?
Yeah, can we take a week off?
Yeah, anything. So when you went to California, you knew nobody, right? Like, you just kind of threw yourself into it. So how did you go from football player to, like, I'm going to be an actor now?
You know, I had the opportunity to go out for the summer and ended up getting a McDonald's commercial when I was 20. And I remember I always had, I was a junior in high school when I told my mom, I think I want to pursue a career in film and television. I was always drawn to the arts, to theater, and I had no idea how it worked. I didn't know anybody in the business. And after I picked my mom up off the floor, you know, she then began to tell me why I shouldn't go do that. She's one of my biggest fans and so supportive. But yeah, I headed out. Ended up getting on TV shows pretty early in my career. But for me, you know, what I tell a lot of young people is, you know, where I see a lot of people fail, a lot of people go wrong, is you limit yourself to one thing. And so what I encourage people to do is film school. Like, the more diversified you are, the more tools you have in your toolbox, the more longevity you're going to have. And, you know, everybody's got to start somewhere. I mean, some of my first jobs were PAs
take whatever you
on
can
movie
get,
sets,
right?
you know, and you're helping take out trash. You're helping. So, you know, if you love the business and you love, there's so many different career paths in, you know, film and television in the entertainment industry. And yeah, I was fortunate enough and was getting on TV shows, and then began to, Home of the Brave was really my big leap into movies when I got that role.
And that's a big one too. I mean, the heavy hitters that you're rolling around there with.
I mean, it was me, Paul Walker, Channing Tatum, Ryan Phillippe. We were all you know, competing for that role. And when I got it, it was a surreal moment. And just to get to work, Sam Jackson, I mean,
yeah, what do you
I tell
remember
people,
with him?
well, he's as cool as he is in person as he is on camera. I mean, just a very humble, great guy, and Jessica Biel's a sweetheart. And so, yeah, we had you know, I've been fortunate to work with really good people, and it's prepped me for this point in my career. You know, I know watching how directors work with celebrities, and I know how I like to be worked with as an actor. So as a director, you know, I mean, your job is to craft the performances and craft the storytelling, but you also need to know when to get out of the way and let the actor, you know, do what they do best.
And that's why actors have made great directors. They understand the give and take of that situation.
Yeah. I mean, I actually prefer, you know, behind the camera. I quickly realized on this one that, you know, it'd be hard to talk too many actors doing costume changes on the back of a snowmobile, you know, at 12,000 feet.
Yeah, a little different.
I could use and abuse myself up there, but
a whole different thing to tell people like, hey, we gotta get this other shot. Actually, I know it's 25 below. We need to do it a couple more times.
So, but yeah, I mean, I'm humbled and blessed to be able to have this story come out nationwide this Friday, and I really think families will enjoy the movie, and have just an overall fun experience.
Yeah, and just getting people to go to the theater, you know, that's still a big thing today. It's so easy to just watch at home, but like period piece, like good family time, like this is something that people can enjoy and actually want to go spend money on too.
Yeah, yeah, you know, I think it's educational. It'll create conversation at dinner, and so, yeah, I mean, it takes a lot for families to get out and go to the movies. And I know for me, with my 3 kids, you know, we're always looking for things to go do on a weekend, or, you know, I love when good movies are out that they like and I like too.
Yeah, it's not just a kid's movie that you're throwing into.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind animation movies, but, you know, there needs to be more movies like this that families can have that outing where, you know, there's adult-driven themes in this movie that adults will appreciate, as well as children that all know Balto and, you know that, wow, this is a true story. This really happened.
Have your kids watched your old stuff?
Yeah, they've watched most all my stuff.
Yeah? They think Dad's cool?
Well, they're kind of over it, yeah. Yeah.
Like, all right, Dad, we get it, you did the thing.
And my littlest one, so who's 6, you know, Joe, we were at the premiere this last week, and she's like, Daddy, why didn't I get to play a sick kid in the hospital?
It's like, you threw my sister there, come on.
So I put them all 3. They're all 3 in my next film called The Orphan Train that will be released next year. But so I put them all as orphans in that movie.
There you go.
So,
that's the good dad looking out right there.
Go.
So you mentioned the fact that you have a film coming out next year. How would you describe this chapter of your career? What are you looking to do with your film, your content in general?
Well, for me, you know, my whole message as a filmmaker and storyteller is doing social impact movies, movies that can bridge a faith world and secular world around stories that are true, heroic, stories of inspiration. And all of our movies, we try to tie in nonprofits that are giving back. So we want the movies to give back to the community. And so we pick 6 nonprofits per film that receive each 1% of the distribution fee off the top, goes straight to them. And so that the movies, so whether it does $1 or it does $100 million, they're getting impacted. And we're really talking about what they're doing. And, you know, times that I've been the happiest in my life, and I'm 42, has been when I'm helping out somebody in need. And so, you know, the theme of this movie is obviously helping out, you know, somebody in need. And I think it's a really beautiful thing when, you know, the left and the right come together, and it's about helping somebody. Unfortunately, and New York knows this all too well, you know, sometimes it requires epidemics or tragedies for that to happen, you know, and, you know, I hope that this film encourages, because it's a beautiful thing when that does happen, and you don't have that divided, you know, stance that people can take. But
bridging that gap between faith-based world, secular world, and just realizing we have more in common, serving others, that's an important message today.
Yeah, I mean, and that's really, you know, the next movie's called The Orphan Train. We're going to be team of foster care is a $1 billion problem in this country, in this world. And so with this one, we have a group called Battle Dogs in Alaska, amazing organization that is taking men and women who fought for our country and veterans that have returned home, suffer from severe PTSD at a point that they're ready to commit suicide. And they're going up into Alaska and associating with sled dogs, the culture, the beauty of Alaska, and they have a whole program that they're changing these men and women's lives and redirecting them. And so we have a addiction recovery program called Hope is Alive, Champions Club, which is a special needs program that we're giving back to, and then we have a DD rescue mission, which is in Beverly Hills, and Huskies are as big in shelters today as like pit bulls.
Wow.
And so part of the reason is they need to be living in a climate that they thrive in. I mean, these dogs are like puppies. Even this one, who's 9. I mean, when it's snowing, he's like a puppy running around. You know, I mean, you wouldn't know he's 9. And so, you know, those dogs thrive in that environment. They thrive in the cold climates, and you know, so yeah, there's a lot of really great synergy that we're trying to do with the movies to make an impact, so that people know when you're endorsing this movie, you know, you're helping, you know, be a voice for the voiceless, and you know, helping save lives and bring attention to causes that really matter. I mean, I hope people enjoy the movie, but really it's about using the vehicles we have in life to impact others in a positive way.
No doubt. Brian, great meeting you.
Thanks, man.
Thanks so much.
Pleasure.
Why don't you tell everybody when they can check out the movie?
Great Alaskan Race opens up October 25th nationwide. Take your family, grandparents, kids, adults. You guys will all enjoy the movie.
Maybe even your dog.
And you will see Utek in the movie. So he's asleep right now. But
For Brian and Utek, I'm DJ. We'll see you next time here on The Sit Down.